What's up, guys? Okay, so I wanted to show you a few things that we got. One, we got the countertop over at Restore for $5. Good price, done. Countertop on the cabinet is finished. Another thing that we actually got was we went to Target and we got a bowl for our sink. And of course, while we're at the George's Timberhouse, we got the drain and everything while we were there. So let me show you the bowl. Check it out. This is pretty cool. Okay, so there it is. That's the bowl that we actually got from Target. That I think it was 13 or it was 15, $19. I think is what it was. I think they vary in price. But we paid $13.99 for it because it was sitting in a clearance section. Now I'm pretty sure that you can find something similar to this. I don't know if it was just a one-time thing, but if you look for stuff like this, you can find it. Now it does have a raised bottom, but because we don't use it very often, I'm not worried about a little bit of water base on the side there. It will splash into the drain. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to drill a hole in the middle and pop that drain in the middle. We're actually going to convert this to our sink. Put a faucet, just a single lever faucet, you know, one single cold water come in. Maybe later on we'll worry about hot water, but right now this is how we're going to do it. So I'm going to actually do this and show you how we put it together. It's going to be so cool looking. Okay, first things first is we need to flip it over, and we want to get some tape on the bottom here, and we use some type of painter's tape. Okay, now that should be pretty good. And I'm going to use this particular type of hole saw drill bit so I can get down in there and drill the right hole. This fits just right around this drain. Now I think this is 1.25 inch drain, so it should be really, it's about perfect for a van size. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here and I'm going to measure this, drop it over a half, and I'm going to know that 1 3/4 is my center. And because my side is chewed up right here, I'm going to pretend that number 5 is 1. So there's that. And what I'm doing now is I'm actually finding the center. This is the easiest way I've been able to do it. As you can see, I'm starting to form a little tiny X down here in the middle. And that's kind of how I'm going to figure out where I want it to be. Alright, so now that I have my center spot where I'm going to actually drive it, I'm going to take some type of punch and I'm going to kind of stick it in the middle here. I'm going to use a hammer, and that way I can mark it. There. Now I got some place for my original drill bit to sit. Now I'm going to drill it out. Here. Okay, now that we got the hole through it, there you go. Now we're going to take some a file and we'll clean up the insides there. Okay, so now that I got the hole all sanded out and routed out, I'm going to go ahead and dry test fit this drain here. So I'm going to screw the bottom. I've got to put some plumber's putty in here and get it all set, and we'll show you putting it in. One thing I do want to talk about is down here. I'm going to backfill this area with heavy-duty epoxy or something, and might even use liquid nail or something. I'll probably rough this surface up so I have better adhesion with the epoxy. That should work pretty good. We'll come back in and caulk around the back area here. When we put it down, that way it'll be flush and no water will get up underneath it and run the wood. Okay. Okay, as you can see, I finally got the cabinet doors on the cabinets, and I got the 2 pieces onto the doors. It's basically going to be a pretty simple, just simple cabinet, simple doors. I had to make the doors custom, so they're 16 by 19. It's kind of a weird size. No, they ain't perfect, but it's not supposed to be. Come on, this is van build, dude. Quick, cheap, to the point. So we're going to go ahead and put the top on. And that includes the sink, so let me show you that. There it is. The sink is all done. You can see foam underneath it to protect it and make it less bouncy. I sealed it underneath, filled it with adhesive and putty and stuff to make it fit. Got to do a little cleanup on the bowl itself, but that'll work for our water. So let's put it on. There it is. Cabinet done, sink already on there. I'll have to do some leveling on the back to make it level. And then back in the back over here is where the faucet will go, right here, come up and go right in there. Our fridge is actually going to go here. And of course we'll push this all the way back up against the wall there. And that'll be the end of it. I picked this up at Walmart as well, 6-gallon water. And I've got a pump that's going to go all the way down at the bottom there. As you can see, it'll be screwed and mounted in several different places up underneath to make it sturdy. And I put some wood glue down and to hold it in. But there it is. It's all its glory. Now, time to finish all the rest of it. Okay, so as you can see, I got a bunch of electrical components to add together. This is an AGM. It's only a 60 amp hour, but this is just for right now. This will get us by. And I got a 4,000 watt inverter energizer. It's not a pure sine, but it's a modified sine wave. This is going to be partially ground, and this is going to be partially the charge system, because I'm going to hook up a continuous duty solenoid to the front, so it'll actually hook up to the battery terminals to keep the battery maintained while the vehicle's in motion. To use the alternator to do that. For our water system, a sink, which is actually going to have a faucet and everything to it, and a water jug, I went and bought a Bayite 12-volt pump. See, there's a Bayite BYT 78102, a diaphragm water pump that I actually bought from Amazon. I'll show you what that looks like right there. So I keep it concentrated into one spot. Eventually I'll have a different location for the batteries, because I plan on getting a couple 75 amp hour batteries, so they're going to have to be relocated to another location. But because this is an AGM battery, I don't have to worry about venting it or anything inside of the car. The other ones will probably be just standard, you know, I'll have to vent them, just standard batteries. So almost like I'll put them underneath the rig and run the batteries up from there. So I got a kitty litter deal, and I drilled a hole actually with a hole saw, and this is going to be the pipe that actually goes down, and if you notice, it fits just right. It's a perfect fit. So this actually goes up under here. Let me show you that. There's the 12-volt pump has already been mounted, and there's the switch right up here, and you can see the P-trap that's there. I'm actually working on the rest of it now. A pipe will actually come back around the backside and go right into this piece here, which will actually sit over there. Okay, so there it is, all mounted. I had to put a little piece of 2x3 or 1x3 in the back to make it fit. There's the sink, and then the faucet will go right here. It'll come up. So there it is. Alright, so we're trying to install a faucet next to our sink. Georgia Timberhouse sponsored us to get and gave us this to install in the van. Problem is, it's not gonna fit. If I had a little bit more angle right here, but I'm running into this problem here, so I have to bring it in closer. So the only thing I can think of to do is either modify the sink so much, like as in just cut the top off, cut it all to pieces, maybe plastic weld all of this here so we only have this one single piece here. But then I still have to figure out how to get it inside. I'm going to mark my spot somewhere over here. I'm thinking right around this area. Okay, right here is pretty safe. Let's see what it'll look like with that. Let's kind of use this as a guide. Okay. I like that. I think that's where we're going to go with it. Okay, now I got my little mark here. Yay. amount of money. Okay, as you can see, I had to fabricate pieces off of the other one, so we decided to go with the top of the faucet instead. So I basically tore the other one apart, did some plastic welding on the sides, plastic welded the piece to the original spray head onto it, and basically there you go. I'm finishing putting it on right now, wrapping some Teflon on it, modifying it like you wouldn't believe. But this will actually hold it down, and the pump will actually be controlled with a switch up here in the front. So it'll work until we can get another faucet in the future. So it kind of looks kind of nice. There you go. Faucet complete. Okay, that is the finished sink and faucet and the countertop and everything. It's all hooked up and ready to go. Like I said, we did the modifications of the faucet, and works perfectly now. So let me show you how it works. We'll flip a switch here, turns the pump on, and there you go. And water's hooked up. By the way, this is mounted down. We mounted that down so that way it won't go flying anywhere. Everything is mounted down, so you don't have to worry about nothing coming out while we're driving. All right, so let me show you underneath and let you take a look. Okay, so there's the pump right there, and of course the drainage system, which you see it all hooked up, and it drains into here, which, you know, when it starts to get, you know, probably about half, I empty it out. And of course the hose going into the 6-gallon water container. On this side, of course, we got some food and a few things on this side, and of course the battery is all hooked up. Ignore the mess in there, but I don't know if you can see it or not. It might be too dark, but there is an AGM battery back in there somewhere. I have a 4,000 watt power inverter, so I use a 400 amp fuse to protect it. Works great. Now let me show you the rest. Basically our kitchen. So there's the camping area where we set the camping stove up, and got extra bottles and stuff underneath. And of course we got the spicy cabinet and stuff like that, and it works. Sheep head. But yeah, that's it. A refrigerator, and everything's all hooked up. Some more utensils and stuff hanging there. And by the way, this is a magnetic strip that's actually back behind here, that while we're sitting here we can actually, you know, stick our utensils up there. Works really good. Something to think about. All right, let me show you the flux capacitor. Okay, so here's the flux capacitor. No, I'm kidding. This is the continuous duty solenoid that I talked about earlier, along with a 150 amp fuse. Now, the way this works is it actually wired into the regular battery into the alternator. So when the alternator comes on, these two leads here, this is a positive, this is a negative. It engages the solenoid and charges my battery through a cord that's run down through the chassis. I think this is a 2 gauge. Yeah, it's a 2 gauge cable running back to the on top of the other battery, the AGM battery, and they both match the cranking amps and everything, so we're good there on that one. But when the engine is off, the solenoid disengages and it disconnects the starting battery from the chassis battery, so that way I don't drain this battery, but the alternator charges everything, including running my inverter whenever we're on the road. So everything runs, the refrigerator runs, everything. Fuse is necessary because this is 150 amps continuous and a 300 amp like jolt if you need to start it real quick, like you put a starter on it. So there you go, flux capacitor. So as you can see, everything is coming together, and the sink and faucet work fantastic. It's actually a good size for a type of van build, so if that's something you're interested in, follow along. Maybe you can make your own. It'd be pretty cool. It's really easy to do. Don't freak out when you're trying to do electric and stuff like that, because, you know, it's challenging. Everything that you do on van life and building is challenging. At least that's what I've discovered. So a new video coming out soon will be the wrapping it up and the reveal. We've already been living in the van for about 10 days now, so should be pretty interesting what's coming up in the future. So please subscribe if you're not subscribed. You know, hit the bell button and follow me. That way you can see when the latest upload is going to be, because soon we're going to be on our tour going all across America, which is why we're called F&D Texas Destination America. We're going to be driving around showing you all kinds of places to go fishing, camping spots, things like that. At least that's the plan. So it's going to be an adventure, and we want you to join along. So keep up, and thank y'all for watching. We'll see you on the next episode.